You are listening to Thelma FM. Well done. I think you've made the right decision. My name is Miles, and this morning we are the internet radio station of reminiscence and records. This morning we're going to have mostly records, and I've been trawling through our vast collection of 78 records here, and I've come up with some records that are not quite as commonly played as a lot of tracks. So you'll recognise some of them, but some of them not probably, and you'll probably recognise all of the artists. So we're going to do a bit of Americana for a lot of this today. So we've got some early country and some other artists which I particularly like, a couple of them. I think we're going to call this this programme Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard, because there has been accusations that our studio here at Thelma FM, which is at the Little Shop of Memory and Ocean Terminal, is a bit of a broom cupboard. It's not. It's much bigger than a broom cupboard. But that's cut out the waffle, and that's moved to our first record, which is, and we're going to have a couple in a row here, Tennessee Ernie Ford, or as he is actually billed on this record, just Tennessee Ernie. And I like this one here. Let's go straight to him.
Stackley, he was a gambling man, as everybody ought to know. Stackley got a Stetson hat and a blazing 44.
I was hanging round the levee along about the break of day, when I hear two gentlemen arguing. I listen to the words they say. It was Stackley and Billy a gambling awful late. Stackley, he throwed a 7, and Billy said he throwed an 8. Stackley, he looked at Billy, said you can't get away with that. 'Tain't enough you win my money, but you win my lucky Stetson hat. Stackley run home to his woman, said fetch me my 44. Gonna fix old Billy's wagon, so he don't gamble wrong no more.
Stackley, he was a gambling man, as everybody ought to know. Stackley got a Stetson hat and a blazing 44.
Stackley found poor Billy. Billy pleaded for his life. Have some mercy on my children, have mercy on my darling wife. Stackley shot poor old Billy, he plugged him in the side. Then he kept on pumping bullets till poor old Billy died. Well, they caught old Stack next morning, they strung him up a tree. And the women dressed in mourning and cried for Stackley. Had $100 funeral with preaching Parson Brown. Then the undertaker got him and stuck him in the ground.
Stackley, he was a gambling man, as everybody ought to know. Stackley got a Stetson hat and a blazing 44.
When the devil sees Stack coming, he holler, now listen to me. Hide the children and the money, 'cause Stackley is worse than me. Stackley grabbed hold of the devil and threw him up on the shelf. Said your working days are over, I'm gonna run the place myself.
Stackley, he was a gambling man, as everybody ought to know. Stackley got a Stetson hat
And a blazing 44.
Stackley, ain't gonna gamble no more.
It's always a good start when a record gets properly to the end. That was Tennessee Ernie Ford, or as he is in billed on this record, just Tennessee Ernie. Ernie Ford was born in 1919 and actually started his career as a radio announcer, and then created this character which was supposed to be larger than life kind of hillbilly character of Tennessee Ernie. We're going to have two more records from him. I like his voice. I think it's a good voice. His most renowned and huge world-selling, high-selling record was, of course, 16 Tons, which I think is a cracking record. As I say, we've searched out these records. We have hundreds of 78 records which have been very kindly donated to us here at the Living Memory Association and our shop, the Little Shop of Memories or our museum, which is called the Little Shop of Memory in Ocean Terminal. And we've had them for many years, a lot of them. We've never been able to do really anything with them. But now, because we have this radio station, we're able to actually properly recycle them, if you like. So let's move on to the next Tennessee, and he's still billed here as Tennessee Ernie. I particularly like this song. It's a kind of wanderer's song, if you like. I'll tell you a little bit more about Tennessee Ernie after this.
The wild goose cry, winging north in the lonely sky, tried to sleep, but it ain't no use, 'cause I am the brother to the old wild goose. My heart knows what the wild goose knows, and I must go where the wild goose goes. Wild goose, brother goose, which is best, a wandering foot or a heart at rest? The cabin is warm, and the snow is deep, and I've got a woman, she lies asleep. When she wakes at tomorrow's dawn, she'll find, oh, critter, that her man is gone. My heart knows what the wild goose knows, and I must go where the wild goose goes. Wild goose, brother goose, which is best, a wandering foot or a heart at rest? My woman was kind and true to me, thinks she loves me the more fool she. She gotta learn that it ain't no use to love the brother to the old wild goose. My heart knows what the wild goose knows, and I must go where the wild goose goes. Wild goose, brother goose, which is best, a wandering foot or a heart at rest? Spring is coming, and the ice will break, and I can't linger for a woman's sake. You'll see a shadow pass overhead. She'll find a feather beside my bed. My heart knows what the wild goose knows, and I must go where the wild goose goes. Wild goose, brother goose, which is best, a wandering foot or a heart at rest?
Well, you're right up on top now, and you want to be free. You think you're too big for poor little me. How soon you forgot. You forgot all the things that you said. Our little success has just gone to your head. Here are 3 letters you sent me, dear, at 3 different stages in your career. The first one read, darling, you wonderful one. I'll always be grateful for all that you've done. The second came after I gave you your start. It came from your pen, dear, and not from your heart. The third was a joker that comes with a debt. You started your letter in close, please find check. Poor fool, do
K-Starr there with 3 letters. I believe we might have had an interruption in our broadcast there earlier. So I was saying that a lot of these records are rather scratchy. They come to us as donations, and with us, as with all our donations in the little shop of memory here at Ocean Terminal, a lot of them have seen a lot of life, and these records have often been played and played, so they're a little bit scratchy. Some of them we might not ever play again because they're just too far gone. I think K-Starr just about got away with it there, but these records I picked out for this morning, actually a lot of them didn't even have covers with them, so they are quite dirty and scratchy. Anyway, that was K-Starr, who was described as by Billie Holiday as the only white woman who could sing the blues, which is quite some accolade. We are going to go to another record, and I'm just going to doubly check that I've actually lined it up. Flummoxed as I was by technical interruption there. Let's have a little look. And no, I haven't said that one. So as I talk to you here, we're going to have Michael Holliday next, who of course certainly wasn't American, but this is a very American style song, and it's 10,000 Miles. Michael Holliday was, as far as I remember, from Liverpool, and he very much based his vocal style on Bing Crosby. This is a little bit different, I think mainly because of the subject matter, but this is 10,000 Miles, Michael Holliday.
Way from home, I'm walking down the track, I've got tears in my eyes, trying to find a place to call my own. But the farther that you roam, the more you wish that you were home, when it's 10,000 miles all alone. And you hate to hear that lonesome whistle blow, that long lonesome train whistling down. I've crossed the burning sands, I've sailed the 7 seas, I've climbed the highest mountain made of stone. But the saddest blow by far is to find where you are, you're just 10,000 miles from your home. And you hate to hear that lonesome whistle blow, that long lonesome train whistling down. I've met farmers on their lands, traded tales of factory hands, the people everywhere I've met and known. But when all is said and done, people everywhere are one, and you're 10,000 miles from your home. And you hate to hear that lonesome whistle blow, that long lonesome train whistling down. If my woman waits for me, then my traveling days are done, for at last I'll have a place to call my own. I had to search the whole world wide to find my place was at her side, and not 10,000 miles from my home. Oh, I'll never hear that lonesome whistle blow, that long lonesome train whistling down. Wait for me, oh wait for me, I'm coming home to you.
Michael Holliday there with 10,000 Miles. I like that one. It's not his normal subject for a record, but I do like a travelling song. Now, we played earlier K-Starr, who tackled a lot of genres of singing, country, jazz, and other genres, and she was always very successful at them. Her first love was jazz, and she was quite influenced by black singers, and she was also a great friend of Frankie Laine. And we've got a Frankie Laine record up next, and this has particular memories for me because as a child I had a handful of records that I'd kind of inherited, and this was one of them, Frankie Laine's Blowing Wild, which is from the film Black Gold. It's a perfect Frankie Laine record because he belts it out. As I said before, bear in mind that this is quite a scratchy one, so this isn't a perfect remastered version, far from it. You are listening to Thelma FM. We are the broadcasting arm of the Living Memory Association, and we've been going since 1986, and we're based in Edinburgh. We have a hands-on museum here in Ocean's Terminal Shopping Centre, and you can come and visit us from 10:30 till 4 weekdays and 11 o'clock till 4 at weekends. And it really is a hands-on museum. There's thousands of objects in here which you can pick up and look at and generally get the feel of them. And as I say, over the years, records have been part of our donations. Here's Frankie Laine.
Marina mine, set me free, free from black gold, our love never can be. Once we lived in a shack, drilled for oil, precious black gold. And this girl loved me back, loved me more than black gold. I was caught in her web, just like the spider captures the fly. And I knew what is more, I must leave her or die. Marina mine, set me free, free from black gold, blowing wild, blowing wild.
Wow, that brings back some memories. I'm sure my 78 was probably of similar condition to that, but that's a cracking song from Frankie Laine. He really belts it out, and that's what he was best at. His nicknames were Mr. Rhythm, Old Leather Lungs, and Mr. Steel Tonsils, and I think that pretty much is a good example of that. Frankie Laine had a long career, and I believe he only died a couple of years ago, well into his 90s. So he had pretty much associated with Western songs, really. Some of the songs that you would think were actually his originally for the film were actually versions that he did, which turned out to be more popular than the original film versions. But what probably is less known about him was that he was very much, as I said before, with Starr, influenced by black artists, and he was a great played a significant role in the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s. Primarily, I suppose, he was the first white artist to actually go on the Nat King Cole television show, which was spoken about before, unable to get sponsors because, of course, he was a black star, so it was not so easy to sell the show in the southern states. So he crossed this line and helped Nat King Cole waver in his fee to be on the show in the first place and encouraging other white artists to go on the show. Unfortunately, it was still cancelled because there wasn't enough sponsors for the show. In the 60s, he gave a part of a free concert for Martin Luther King supporters when they were protesting at the Selma Montgomery marches, and he actually was in a concert involved in that. Great appreciation and influence by black singers, Fats Waller, people like that. And he obviously sounds like a really good guy. Did a lot of stuff for other charities as well. Anyway, that's cut to a very famous song, but his version of it, Your Cheating Heart.
Your cheating heart will make you weep. You cry and cry and try to sleep, but sleep won't come the whole night through. Your cheating heart will tell on you. When tears come down like falling rain, he'll toss around and call my name. He'll walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell on you. Your cheating heart will pine someday and praise the love you threw away. The time will come when you'll be blue. Your cheating heart will tell on you. When cares come down like falling rain, you toss around and call my name. You'll walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell on you.
There we are, Your Cheating Heart. Not exactly a forgotten song, but I don't know, I think Frankie Laine's somewhat of an overlooked and forgotten artist. He had hits 64 years apart, which is quite some achievement. You are listening to Thelma FM, and this hour is going to be called Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard. The Broom Cupboard being this studio here, which is slightly bigger than a broom cupboard. We are at the Little Shop of Memory in Ocean Terminal. Slight change of pace here now. We're going to have Eddie Calvert. I just love the title of this. And obviously it's an instrumental because he was a trumpet player. So Mystery Street. Eddie Calvert, the man with the golden trumpet, who actually was born and died in Preston, Mystery Street, which is not the normal sort of track that I associate with Eddie Calvert. His main hit, of course, was Oh Mine Papa, and I always associate him with being a little more upbeat than that. But again, I think that's a kind of Americana thing. Now, this is our final Tennessee, and he is billed here as Tennessee Ernie Ford. It is extremely crackly. We'll see how we get on here. You'll have to bear with it. It is a fabulous song. 16 Tons was a massive hit in the pop charts and the country charts in 1955. I like it, and I think Tennessee Ernie Ford is at his best when you can really hear his voice and he's not over-orchestrated, and this certainly isn't. Very sparse arrangement in the background. I don't know if you can hear it on this record, but if you can get it online, obviously, on YouTube, etc. But there's this finger clicking in there, and I think it's a lone trumpet there, and a clarinet, but it's a great song. Bit of an oddball one to be in the charts at the time, as it's certainly not a love song. It's very much about the hard, I suppose slightly romanticised. This is a hard man who works in the mine. 16 tons is how much coal he has to dig out. But anyway, let's see how we get on with this. As I say, bear with it, very scratchy version.
People say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood and skin and bone. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, well, to bless my soul, you load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning, it was drizzling rain. Fighting and trouble are my middle name. I was raised in the canebrake by an old mama lion. Can't no high-toned woman make me walk the line. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. If you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't, a lot of men died. One fist of iron, the other of steel. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe soul to the company store.
It did go a little quickly there, but my goodness, that wasn't too bad crackle-wise. What an absolute... There's some records, some singles, you think that is utterly perfect. You couldn't better that in any way. And the arrangement in there and just the tone of his voice. And the lyrics, of course, you load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Absolutely brilliant. And you can actually hear the snapping fingers, and I love that. It is a trumpet, isn't it, in the background, that forlorn trumpet there. And it was number one in the country charts for 10 weeks, and then had 7 weeks at number one on the pop charts, which was one of these crossover records, which wasn't that common. You're listening to Thelma FM. These are forgotten songs from the broom cupboard, and I hope that this might be part of some, well, not nostalgic music, but music from the past that we will be doing. We have Charlie's 1960s show, we have the Soul Elevator with Barry Davidson, and we have Analog Rory's Blues Hour, and I'm going to dedicate this to Analog Rory if he's listening. I'll pass this record on to you, I think, Rory. It, again, is a little bit scratchy, but let's try this. This is Hootin' Blues. The Sonny Terry Trio with Hootin' Blues. If they're still listening, a happy 23rd wedding anniversary to Sheila and Tony, who are out there in Portugal. Must catch up with you at some time. We're going on to another record, slight change of pace again. This is Zambezi, which I seem to remember being a hit in the 70s as an instrumental, 70s, 80s. Was a big hit also for Eddie Calvert, who I played earlier. Hopefully this is not quite as scratchy as that previous one.
Zambezi, 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 Zambezi.
they've all started now. They're all clearing off too early. Excuse me. That was Busch, who was a band leader, record producer and songwriter. And of course it was Zambezi, excuse me, which was a hit for the Piranhas, and that's the one I remember. I keep saying it, but these are all 78 records from our collection. Now, if you looked at our Facebook posting, you would have seen a poster there for a rock and roll show, and in amongst the artists was this man, who is Charlie Gracie. So, and this is Wandering Eyes. Not a guy I'd really heard of before, but he's pretty much still on the go.
Wandering eyes, thoughts of one new, but me, oh me, I just got eyes for only you. Wandering eyes, you keep telling me lies. I wish were true. I should be wise to all your lies, but I love you. One of these days, when you leave me all alone, how would you like it if I did some wandering of my own? Wandering eyes, you got beautiful eyes, but they're untrue. I guess you got me hypnotized, 'cause I love you. You got wandering eyes, thoughts of one new, but me, oh me, I just got eyes for only you. Wandering eyes, you keep telling me lies. I wish were true. I should be wise to all your lies, but I love you. One of these days, when you leave me all alone, how would you like it if I did some wandering of my own? Wandering eyes, you got beautiful eyes, but they're untrue. I guess you got me hypnotized, 'cause I love you. You are. 'Cause I love you.
You are listening. Where else would you listen to Charlie Gracie on a scratchy 78? But Thelma FM. As I say, he had a very long career. This man had a very long career. This is Ted Heath, the band leader, and we played this a few times before. A very British band leader and the most popular band leader of the 1950s. But this is a very, following our theme of Americana, this is certainly a very American tune. That, of course, was the theme to Dragnet, the American TV series which ran from 1951 to 1959 and actually started off as a radio program. If you go to Audio Noir on, you can get that on internet radios, or you can download an app. You get quite a lot of episodes on their classic 50s crime radio programs. Ted Heath, as I say, a very English band leader. I'm just looking at this record of ours, which has a slight paint stain on the edge of it and is very slightly warped. I said they came to us with a bit of history, didn't I? Now, we're going to a very American band leader, and this is Tommy Dorsey, and it is Swing High. Now, Tommy Dorsey was a trombone player and known as the Sentimental Gentleman of Swing. He probably is more well known for getting into trouble with having a contract with Frank Sinatra, which he was forced to terminate. Well, let's say he was persuaded. I could have listened to a bit more of that, actually. That's Tommy Dorsey. We're sticking in that same kind of mood, but this is Louie Armstrong, and it's the fantastically titled Jack Armstrong's Blues. I think this, by the look of this record, it looks in quite good condition, so hopefully it won't be quite as distorted as that was getting on the high notes. You're listening to Thelma FM, and this is Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard. Not necessarily forgotten, maybe just not played as much.
Play the blues for me.
Nay, Mr. T, blow a little tram for me.
Well, I'll take 4 bars. You play for half of me.
Load on, boy, load on. good tonight. Oh, Mr. Louie, sure sound good tonight. Oh, latch on, fetch, send me out just right.
Louie Armstrong, Satchmo, extraordinary voice, extraordinary trumpet player. Absolutely brilliant. You are listening to Thelma FM. This is a kind of new thing for us. This is our pilot internet radio station. We are Records and Reminiscence. This hour is dedicated more to music and our fine old collection of 78 records. Yes, there's no digital downloads or CDs on this programme. I just love picking up. Okay, it's a little more difficult to line things up and condition can be an issue, but I just love 78 records. I like picking them up. I like putting them on the turntable. I like watching them go round, and actually I particularly like that Satchmo one is in pretty good condition. Now, we're going back to a English-British artist, and this is Humprey Lyttleton. We're in the same genre, jazz though. Oh, Humph. Where did you go? Humphrey there, Humprey Lyttleton, had a long career, Dixieland jazz, particularly associated with, but he was also a presenter on Radio 4. I'm sorry, I haven't a clue. That very, very, very long-running quiz show. If Mark's listening, that goes out to him, because I know that he likes a bit of Humph. You are listening to Thelma FM. This is Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard, and it'll be part of some music programs that we will be airing over the coming week. So we have Barry Davidson's Soul Elevator, we have Charlie's 1960s music show, and of course we have Analog Rory and his Blues, Tuesday Blues. We're going to keep with British band leader, and this is Ken Mcintosh, who was from Yorkshire and was very much in the 50s and 60s. This is Istanbul, not Constantinople. Nice ending there from Ken Mcintosh. Istanbul, not Constantinople. And he behaved admirably by getting to the end of the record, as indeed he should have done. You have been listening, and you are listening to Thelma FM. We will have more of these music shows, as I've said earlier. We've got a whole series of them going to be coming out over the coming weeks and months, but we will also be having life story shows, and we will be getting guests in to talk about their lives and experiences, because the Living Memory Association is a reminiscence project, and that's what we are all about, giving people a voice. Now I'm going to give, what a link, eh? I'm going to give Dorothy Squires a voice here, and she is going to be singing. I think it's a very good record for the end of my hour, but please listen on for more reminiscences and spread the word about Thelma FM. You can get our player on our homepage, and you can also download an app, but just check us out on our Facebook page, Thelma FM, and also Living Memory Association, or our website, www.livingmemory.org.uk. I'm going to hand over to Dorothy Squires. So tired
of waiting for you, so tired of longing for you, tired of waiting saving my love for you. So tired of dreaming daydreams, so tired of only play schemes. Why don't you call me tonight, my dear? Tell me that your thoughts are all of me.